Hello and welcome to Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor, and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Aquarius. If Aquarius is your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising sign, then this is a message for you. All right, let's get started. So we have the Knight of Cups energy tonight. This little fuzz on me. I think I accidentally washed with a robe. Okay, and let's take a look and see what do these tea leaves have to say tonight. And if you have not subscribed, please think about doing that. You can hit the little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. It's free to subscribe. Okay, I want to start here because this is a really interesting looking one to me. Might be a little harder to make out, but it looks like a cat right here. The ears, maybe right there, the eyes and some of the stripes on it. It almost looks like a two-headed cat a little bit because we have another ears and eyes over here. And then you can see the legs and the tail, okay? And then it looks like it's holding in its mouth like a little baby. And it looks like a human, like a human baby, kind of in the fetal position. So I do feel like, and here comes TT, I can hear her. She's over here making all of her noises. We call them little sprittle noises. I do feel like there's this sense of having a really strong bond with an animal. Now, it might be a cat. It might not be a cat. It could be a dog or a rat or... no, not on my lap. You got to come up here, mamas. There you go. It could be, you know, some kind of animal companion. Doesn't have to be particular. But what I feel from this immediately is the sense of a companion that kind of saved your life in a lot of ways. This is an animal that you have been very close with, one that feels like family, right? Which they often do, don't they? And, you know, in your darkest days, your hardest days, the days that just feel like they last forever and they're just, you know, endlessly difficult. You come home to your companion, this lovely being who greets you, or if it's a cat, maybe they don't greet you. Maybe they wait until they're ready to come out and see you. Although our cats are always at the door not because they want to say hi, because they want an opportunity to try to get outside unless it's like snowing. So anyhow, I do feel like this is kind of a very close soul bond for you. I feel like when you talk about the highs and lows of your life, of your journey here, in these last few years, this is who you kind of say, yeah, this is my, you know, little savior kind of, right? This is the blessing of my life. This is a manifestation of the divine, kind of a guardian angel of sorts. Okay, come on. You gotta go. There you go. I love you. Go find the bed. Go see what Daddy's doing. He's probably sleeping. All right. So, yes, this is really, there's not always a need, or not a need. There's not a need for a reason to be thinking about our companions, right? They are ever in our life. But this could be that this companion has transitioned and they've been on your mind. Maybe you have been dreaming about them. But I do feel like there is this real kind of, you know, the love that you have felt between you and this companion, this I try to steer away from, I know I keep saying companion, I try to steer away from saying pet, you know, because I don't feel like they are our pets. We don't, I mean, we own them legally, but we don't own them, right? They are sentient beings, and in a lot of ways they kind of run us, don't they? So but I feel like there's a sense of kind of your inner child, and this is why that baby comes up, your ability to kind of go into that part of yourself while with this being because of that unconditional love. There's no drama. There's not, you know, not any, the dramas that we have with our animals, right? When they're making little messes or tearing things up, or, you know, whatever they're doing, their general mischief. Don't scratch me, Mama, like this. She's down here scratching me. She wants me to pay attention. You know, but there is a sense of unconditional love and great healing in that love. And go on now. It's always my first reading of the night. She just well, that's not true. It's all of the readings. All of them. And then when she doesn't show up, people ask for her. So she's just really on one. I've been packing all day, so I haven't had a lot of chance to pay attention to the cats, and they probably are starting to get pretty nervous. They're thinking, what is going on? The house is pretty empty now. So anyways, yes, very in tune with that, and I think it kind of rolls out into all other parts of your life. This relationship has helped strengthen your ability to have empathy for others, to connect with other people, you know, because you have felt a love that is it's an ease. It's an ease to love. And you know, so often in our lives, we don't understand that until we've had an animal and have a soul bond with them. It could also happen, you know, with anybody else, right? But human relationships are far more complex, aren't they? So I do think that this is really kind of, it comes to the front of things for you. And I think that there's, you know, a lot of love there. And if this is an animal that has transitioned, I feel that, you know, you're missing them. And that's really kind of coming up. Hi, I know you just want so much attention, don't you? I will hold you, but you cannot scratch or bite or lick me. All right. You darling. Okay. I'm going to hold you like a little baby. All right, let's see. What else do we have going on here? Okay. So we have the face of a chicken here. You can see the eyes and the beak, and this is the top of the head. And it's interesting because we also have, it looks like a house, maybe a person, a child, it almost reminds me of, running away from a chicken who is like squawking right by their head, right? Like that looks like a pretty, a pretty aggravated chicken there. So I feel like in this situation, it's almost kind of like, oh, maybe, you know, somebody kind of gossiping, somebody kind of talking a little smack to you or about you. And there's this sense of kind of wanting to run home to your safe place, because, you know, you're not really somebody who engages in, you know, the arguing and the gossip and the, you know, falling out and all these kinds of things. So it almost seems like it's quite, I mean, it's like something that hasn't happened in a long time, and it might be kind of startling. And so I feel like there's this urge to kind of go and hide away, wait for this thing to pass over. Here's the amazing thing about these modern times is that with the internet and with everybody arguing on the internet, if somebody says something bad about you or tries to get into an argument with you, you know, within a few hours, nobody's going to remember. There's already been so many other dramas going on. You know, I think it feels like it's like anxious. You know, I feel like it's kind of like, you know, almost kind of clutch your pearls energy, not in a negative way, but just, yeah, like, I cannot believe that somebody just went for me like that. This is ridiculous, you know, and really just kind of makes you want to go back into kind of your shell, where you were before, where everything was kind of, you know, under control. You knew what was going on. You weren't worried about things beyond, you know, your own life ordeals. And when you kind of add that social bit into the mix, and, you know, depending on what kind of people are around, which, you know, there are all kinds everywhere. So it just, you know, sometimes you encounter somebody that is kind of hyper aggressive or really kind of, you know, in your face about things. They, you know, have to talk about stuff online for everybody to see. We all know people like that. They talk about their, you know, their arguments with their spouses. They talk about the stuff in the neighborhood. They talk about, you know, whatever it is. And hey, that's fine. We all have, you know, the right to communicate our experiences. But, you know, you can kind of pick out somebody who is just out here looking for that negative energy. And honestly, you know, I don't usually like to talk about that idea of like the energy vampire. But, you know, sometimes we do encounter people with that kind of vibe to them. And, you know, it's just kind of, even if you are friends, you can't really trust anything that they're going to say or do, because you've watched them kind of run other people. And then it's like, would you be surprised that they're going to tell people what you've told them? That they're going to, you know, use the most, you know, hurtful things that they can find just to kind of prove a point. And, you know, I think just at some point you have to decide, like, is it worth all of that? And I feel like here you're really, there is a lot of thinking to do, you know. I feel like, I don't know, you just get to a certain age where it's like, why do people have to behave that way? I don't know. I mean, I don't really have friends. I mean, I have friends, but I don't see a lot of people in real life besides my little family, that I know very well. And I just can't imagine, you know, I mean, I can, because I have had friends when I was young, right? And was part of these kinds of dramas, and it just is so tiring. So, you know, I'm sorry, and I hope that, you know, it just kind of, it reminds you, and my acquired mom always says this, you know, especially when I was younger, she'd always say, you know, show me who your friends are and I'll tell you who you are. And I always thought, yeah, okay. But it kind of, you know, who we spend our time with, our most sacred, you know, kind of spiritual currency in the physical plane, our time, right? And who we decide to spend that time with, to commune with, to share our energies with, it really does affect us on some level, right? And so, you know, I really don't blame you for wanting to get away from that. Now we have a 6 and a 3. We have 63. Let's see. We have a 2 up here. Oh, and it looks like it's a W and an M. So WM, maybe a name. Excuse me. I know, I forget I'm not supposed to do that. Oh, okay. And then we have the survivors. A survivor of something. We have a moth. You can see, oh, I'm trying to follow this. I have a new screen to look at. And my husband, shout out to Dove and Serpent Tarot, my husband Paul over there, amazing tarot reader. I'm trying to think. It's like amazing dad. He is an amazing dad too. But amazing tarot reader. He hooked up some new equipment here and I'm trying to figure out how to use it. But I look at it and I lose my ability to point where I need to. So here and here, you can kind of see the little face up here. Hi. Do you see the little face? Okay. Oop. Oop, 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 oop. Oh, all right. Now you come sit down. I know, you just huffed me. Okay, so we have the big moth, okay? We also have the little survivor's ribbon right down in there. And so I feel like there's just a sense of being drawn to light, right? We have the moth. Obviously, they are drawn to light. But I do feel like there is a sense of finding healing in the divine, finding meaning in your journey, which really kind of helps with that healing process, with the fight of it and, you know, overcoming and going through the healing that comes after it. And also the trauma, right? Whatever it is. If we have earned this ribbon for any kind of, you know, disease or you know, challenge or whatever it is, you know, it's likely that there has been a situation that was somewhat traumatic, right? You know, I have talked about it on here. I'm in recovery and I've also had some mental health things, but like I don't know how to say it on YouTube. I don't know, how do you say it? I guess it's unaliving yourself, surviving that, and that is, you know, for me that's my big ribbon right there is surviving, being a survivor of you know, self-inflicted stuff. So. And I'm trying, there are like a list of words that we're not supposed to say on here. But yeah, so what it comes down to is, yeah, these things can be traumatic. You go through any kind of health issue or, you know, something that, especially if it's like, you know, ongoing, if it's a long-term thing, chronic, my goodness, you know, that's quite an experience. So, I also see up here a flower in full bloom right up here, right in the chest, right in that heart chakra up there. And so I think, you know, a lot of movement towards your faith, towards gratitude, deciding to look at life from a perspective of I can do this, a perspective of I will do this. You know, as bad as the circumstances are, I'm going to find the silver lining. I'm going to find a reason to keep going. And even if, you know, you've overcome, there's still those lingering kind of strands of, you know, the pain of something so serious happening and not knowing. There's just no, you know, real certainty. And that can be, you know, quite destabilizing. So coming out of that, going slow, you know, really caring for yourself and those around you, you know, hopefully being able to allow love into your life, people to care for you and to love you. You know, and I think that sometimes when we go through these really serious events in our life, these periods of time, you know, it's almost kind of like a self-preservation thing where we can turn away from wanting to be too close to anybody. We can, you know, worry that we're going to affect people negatively. And especially the ones that we love, right? We don't want them to worry about us. We don't want them to lose any sleep or suffer. But they do, right? And that is just the reality of it. And, you know, sometimes we have to tell ourselves, you know, if the tables were turned, you would show up for them, right? And you would show up over and over and over again because you love them. And you would try to be as understanding as you can be and be as patient and loving and supportive. And so, you know, you have to realize that other people feel this way for you. And it can be hard to come out of that place of kind of, you know, putting up that wall, right? So I do feel like this is kind of a big step forward for you. Really being in this kind of place of following the light, looking for that light. And that's, you know, that is such a beautiful journey. It's a beautiful mission to be on. And again, one that is quite healing, even when it doesn't feel like it. Okay. Oh, let's look at this. I wanted to look at the dolphin up there. So I also feel like there is a real movement towards a psychic period in your life. I feel like you're just so in tune. You're very in tune with things. You are... you pick up on stuff long before other people do, like anybody would, right? I think that you like go out in the world, you read people without even realizing it sometimes. I think almost it's kind of like you're like, oh yeah, I am really, you know, I just am really good at picking up on you know, whatever aspects of people's personalities and, you know, you read people well, you know, you just kind of, and I read just like generally, not in a psychic capacity, but I think the reality is that you do have these psychic abilities and, you might kind of, reason them out, right? And think, you know, to yourself, like, yeah, it's weird. It's like almost like so many coincidences that I get such precise details about somebody. But I'm also kind of looking at them and picking up on all these little subtle, you know, cues from them. But I do think that it is like truly psychic. And, as I'm talking about this, I'm looking at this here and it says C-A-L-L. So it says call. It says call. Something about calling somebody. Like they're waiting for you to kind of reach out to them. Something may be going on. So if there's somebody you were thinking like, I should call and see how they're doing, or I need to get a hold of so-and-so, I think this is a good time for that. And I just, as I'm saying that, it just feels kind of anxious. There's like an anxious feeling there. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it maybe is not that big of a deal, but they want to talk to you, but they're not reaching out to you. I'm looking, we have this heart. I'm trying to get some clarity here. It almost feels like maybe this is like they're having relationship problems. We have the heart, but we also have the scythe. We have a fish over here. So maybe this is actually kind of relationship problems due to financial issues. Did you just burp? You silly. Yeah. I think it is. I think they're having financial issues or disagreeing about finances or something, but it's affecting the relationship. And I think that they're embarrassed to reach out about it, and feels like, you're the person they kind of want to talk to. But there is just an anxious feeling. It's just, I can feel it in my chest. As we started talking about this part, I was like, oh, I feel almost kind of just afraid to even say it out loud, like not me, but them. Okay, let's see. We have a throne that is empty. We have a number 1 up here. Oops, let's get this. A number 1. We have a throne that's empty. We have a fish. We have, no. We have 2 people underneath an animal, underneath the moon, in this kind of pyramid here. Okay, so it looks like we have 1, 2, 3, 4 people over here. And there, it feels like there's kind of a distance between. There is some communing. I almost feel like it's kind of maybe work related. Maybe you work remotely or long distance, and I feel like there's at least like one person that you really relate to in this job that you have. And I feel like together you can kind of, come together and like use your position to get things done that otherwise would be kind of difficult alone. So I feel like it's like a close team. But I feel like there's maybe maybe like a higher position that maybe you're competing for. But I do see more money coming in. So I wonder if you will get the position over this colleague of yours. And I think that in some ways, you're ambitious, definitely, but I feel like you're almost kind of worried about destroying that friendship, or at least like making it a little awkward. But it's work, and hopefully if it is a good friendship, it will withstand this kind of situation. Okay. So we have the Indigo Sage affirmation cards, and these are the air element. I'm just going to go ahead and flip through, and we'll stop where it feels right. We have this beautiful butterfly here, and it says, Spirit of Truth, Vivifying Energy. Your heart is a sacred temple of the eternal flame of love, beauty, peace, and joy. Love, beauty, peace, and joy. Yes. All right. Okay, Aquarius, I'm going to go ahead and tell you I love you because I do, and I want to thank you so much for spending this time with me. It's always such an honor to be able to bring these messages to you. And if you would be so kind as to like the video, it really does help the channel so much. And if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit the little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. It's free to subscribe. And if you would like to leave a comment, please do. I would love to hear from you. I'm trying to keep up with them as far as like responding. I'm falling behind, but I'm packing. And so, I'm doing my best. And I know that you all understand, and that's why I love you guys so much, because you're just so sweet. And I'm excited. We're getting into some new studios. Both Paul over at Dove and Serpent Tarot and our offices are right next to each other. And that's exciting. What else? Oh, and I think Paul announced that he quit his day job. So we are both now full-time doing our channels. I'm still, mainly stay-at-home mom, but I'm working closer to full-time hours now. So, yeah, I don't know. It's been such a blessing, and we really just appreciate all of you so much. Our communities here are, ones that I think just the energy it stands out, like how high vibrating. I love how supportive you all are of not just us, but of each other and of yourselves. I appreciate all of the sharing that you do, and, the prayers for one another, and, just generally uplifting each other. All of that means, I think it means more than we realize. I think in the last, 15 years, we spent a lot of time kind of, oh, okay, you got to turn around though. Go ahead. And we spent a lot of time kind of being like, are people online are people you really know, and that's true to some degree, but excuse me, people that you meet online could become your best friends in the whole world. They could become the loves of your life. I mean, me and Paul met online. So, and we dated on like long distance for years before, we married and moved in together and married and had our daughter and everything else. So, you never know. But also it is, the way that we talk to each other, that we communicate to each other, the words we choose to use, the places that we decide to come from within ourselves, it could save somebody, I know I go on about this a lot on the channel, but we live in a world where a lot of people are lonely. It doesn't matter if you have nobody in your life, or if you have a ton of people in your life, if you're always around people, or if you kind of you never see anybody, or somewhere in between. It doesn't matter. You can be lonely, even if other people don't perceive you to be. So we have to really, and I don't like to tell anybody what to do, but we really do have to try to find a way to be kind. And sometimes, yeah, go out of our way to be kind. And get over this idea that it's more important for us to not be inconvenienced than to spend even a moment having an interaction with somebody, right? Sometimes, you'll just meet people out in the world. And for me, it's often like the grocery store or something like this. And you just know nobody's asked them for real, like how their day is. Nobody has asked, how you doing? What's been going on with you? And not just walking away. How you doing? You keep walking. But really listening, So anyways, I look at the comments and I think these are people that are interested in doing something different in this world. And, going against all of these ideas we have about humanity falling apart, right? Changing it. One action, one comment, one exchange of love at a time. And that's how we're going to make a difference, I think. I believe that. I do. So anyways, I'll stop rambling. I love you so much, Aquarius, and we'll talk again in just a few days. I thank you. Good night. Good night. Good night.